Cameron Porter is a 17-year-old African-American youth who attended Madison High School in Harrison County. His grades ran in the high 80s, and there is no indication in his school records of difficulty in social adjustment. He lives in a two-parent household and is the only child. The parental income is quite high, and there's no indication of deprivation. Cameron has been advised that the interviews will not be privileged and that they can be subpoenaed for any subsequent legal action, but that the primary aim of these interviews is analytical purposes. He has agreed to be interviewed in an effort to cooperate with the analysis team and has signed a waiver to that effect.
Bang, bang. What a beautiful thing it was. Everybody went down because they didn't think I had it in me.
Hi, my name is Haley Hoffman, and I'm a master's student at the University of Kentucky and a bookseller at Joseph Beth Booksellers here in Lexington, and I'm here today to talk to you about Walter Dean Myers' book, Shooter. Shooter tells the story of the events that led up to a school shooting at Madison High School. There were 3 suspects involved, and they are interviewed throughout the book. These suspects are Cameron, who is a African-American teenager who becomes friends with a white boy named Leonard, whose father owns and shoots a lot of guns, and the two go out and shoot together for sport mostly, and then quickly become each other's only friends and bond over that shooting time. They later bring in a girl named Carla into their group, who becomes a friend and is ultimately involved in the events of the school shooting. The book is written in an interesting way, as it begins with interviews with Cameron and Carla, as well as several newspaper accounts from those days, a medical examiner's report for the 2 victims of the shooting, and then the journal, finally, of the active shooter, Len. So, this book is interesting to me. I gravitated towards this book because of the events that are going on in our country right now, specifically with a rise in school shootings, especially after the Stoneman Douglas shooting on February 14th. This book is very important and very timely, as it explores the ways in which everyday occurrences at school can lead up to a catastrophic event that leaves people dead. Specifically in the case of Cameron, Carla, and Leonard, they were bullied throughout their high school years by one particular person, a football player named Brad, who was the other victim of the school shooting besides Leonard, who kills himself afterwards. And the 3 decide to band together to call to action all of the administrators and teachers in their school to get them to stop the violence in their school and stop the bullying. The original plan is for the 3 to go in and paint Stop the Violence on the walls, both in paint and for Leonard in his own blood. And then it quickly spirals out of control as you track Len's progression into sort of insanity and his journal entries in the end. Through the interviews, which take place in the aftermath of the shooting, you learn a lot more about the events that not only led up to it, but also the ways in which it has really damaged the community and damaged those who were sort of collateral damage in the plot, and Cameron and Carla are those people. And it's really very interesting to see how those lives are destroyed so quickly just by the simple event of bringing a gun to school. I would recommend this book for anybody who wants to read something that is timely, something that is very realistic. It is a piece of realistic fiction, and a story that has sort of a breakneck plot. Even amidst all of the interviews and all of the journal entries, there still is very much a very quick movement toward that shooting where you're dying to know what happens as it's sort of skirted around in the interviews, and then at the very end you get it all through Len's diary entries. So in short, I would recommend Shooter to anybody who's looking for a timely book, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I did.